Ever feel like you're just drowning in notifications and deadlines and like to-do lists? It's like the world is just stuck on fast forward.
It's so true.
And it's exhausting. But what if I told you that like the antidote to all this chaos is actually stillness?
It sounds kind of counterintuitive, right?
Totally. That's why I think this book, Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday, is so fascinating.
Yeah.
He dives deep into this idea, and not with just like typical self-help stuff,
Right.
but by weaving together stories of historical figures and philosophical ideas.
Yeah, it's a really interesting approach.
It is. We're talking everyone from like JFK to Tiger Woods to ancient philosophers.
And that's what I think makes the book so compelling.
Right.
It highlights how this need for stillness, it isn't just some like modern day fad, but like a fundamental human need that transcends time and professions.
Exactly. And we love to give our listeners practical takeaways, right?
Correct.
So we're not just going to like talk about why stillness matters, but like how you can actually cultivate it in your own life.
Because simply understanding it isn't enough.
Right.
It's the application of it.
Yes.
The integration into our daily routines, that's where the real magic happens.
Okay, so let's jump right into one of the most vivid stories from the book.
Okay.
Picture ancient Rome, right?
Okay.
Bustling streets, chariots, vendors, hawking their wares, pure chaos.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
And amidst all of this, you have the Stoic philosopher Seneca calmly writing and thinking.
Man.
Can you imagine trying to focus with all that going on?
It's almost impossible to imagine.
It's wild.
It really is.
So how? How is that possible?
Well, Seneca understood that external chaos, all that stuff, it didn't have to dictate his internal state.
Okay.
He actually talked about toughening his nerves to the noise,
Interesting.
essentially training his mind to focus amidst distractions.
So it's like mental weightlifting for your focus.
It really is.
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize if Seneca could find that stillness in ancient Rome, maybe we can find pockets of it in our modern lives too.
Absolutely. And speaking of like high pressure situations,
Yes.
Holiday also dives into how JFK relied on stillness during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh, talk about a high-stakes situation. I mean, we've all seen the photos of JFK looking so calm and collected.
Of course.
But I had no idea he was intentionally using stillness as like a strategy.
It wasn't just about appearances.
Oh.
Holiday talks about how JFK used handwritten notes to focus his mind
Oh, wow.
during this incredibly tense time.
Okay.
And he would repeatedly write words like missile, veto, consensus.
It's like he was creating a mental anchor for himself.
Oh, exactly.
Just cutting through the noise and zeroing in on like the essential.
Precisely. And it's a technique we can all use, right?
Yeah.
Think about how you can create those mental anchors in your own life.
Okay.
Whether it's like a go-to phrase or a calming image or even a physical object that brings you a sense of focus.
And we can't forget those rocking chairs JFK was famous for.
Oh, yeah. They're iconic.
They weren't just for show.
Right.
They actually helped him manage his chronic back pain,
Interesting.
which in turn helped him think more clearly.
It's a great reminder that sometimes we need to create that physical space for mental clarity as well.
I like that.
Even small rituals,
Yeah.
they can make a big difference.
Okay, ready for another story?
I'm ready. Hit me.
This one takes us from the political battleground to the baseball diamond.
Okay.
Picture this. Sean Green,
Okay.
Major League Baseball player, he was in a slump.
The worst.
Couldn't hit anything. The pressure was on. What did he do? He decides to just empty his mind.
It seems counterintuitive, right?
Totally.
You'd think we need to overthink, analyze every detail to improve. But sometimes the key to a breakthrough is actually letting go of that mental clutter.
And that's exactly what Green did. Instead of obsessing over his swing, he focused on the physical sensations. His feet on the ground, the feeling of the bat in his hands, anything but the pressure to perform.
Wow.
And the result.
What happened?
One of the most legendary games in baseball history. He hit 4 home runs.
Shut up.
I know!
That's incredible.
Amazing, right?
It really is. Wow.
So Green's story really highlights how this idea of like emptying the mind.
Yeah.
It isn't just some like mystical concept.
Right.
It's about like getting out of our own way and letting our natural abilities shine through.
Absolutely. And it's a concept that's been around for centuries.
Really?
From Zen Buddhism to Stoicism. It's about quieting that inner critic that often holds us back.
Okay, so like how do we actually quiet that inner critic?
Well, that's the $1 million question, right?
Right.
One way is through embracing stillness.
Okay.
And that leads us perfectly into our next story from the art world.
Ooh, I like where we're going.
Holiday talks about Marina Abramovich.
Okay.
And her incredible performance art piece, The Artist is Present.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, so she basically sat in complete silence.
Wow.
For hours on end.
No way.
While people took turns just sitting across from her.
That's intense. What was the point of that?
Well, it's easy to see this and just think that's intense.
Right.
But it was so much more than that.
Right.
You know, Abramovich wasn't just testing her limits.
Okay.
She was making like a powerful statement
about
presence and stillness in a world that's constantly in motion.
Okay, so stillness can be an act of defiance almost.
In a way, yes. When was the last time someone really, truly gave you their undivided attention?
Oh my gosh.
Right.
It's so rare these days.
It really is.
And that's probably why I find this performance art piece so fascinating.
And that's what drew people to her performance.
Makes sense.
They waited in line for hours just for a chance to sit across from her.
Wow.
To experience that level of presence and connection.
It's so powerful.
It is. And it really makes you think about the power of simply being present with ourselves and others.
I love that. And I think that's something that everyone listening can benefit from.
Absolutely. And this brings us to a crucial point about the human need for stillness.
Okay.
Our brains, they were not designed for the constant barrage of information.
Oh, tell me about it. My screen time is out of control.
Right. It's like this constant stimuli that we face every day.
Yeah.
Stillness, whether it's through meditation or spending time in nature or even just disconnecting from technology.
Yeah.
It allows our brains to hit the reset button.
It's like giving our minds a chance to catch their breath and actually process everything.
Precisely. And that processing is crucial for everything.
Like what?
Like making sound decisions, to tapping into our creativity.
Okay, so those are some pretty compelling reasons to actually try to be still.
I think so.
So we've seen how stillness plays out in these amazing stories.
Yeah.
But now let's get practical.
Okay.
How can we actually incorporate it into our own lives?
That's the big question, right?
Right. Thankfully, Holiday gives us a whole toolkit of techniques.
He does. He does.
So what's first?
Well, one of the most important ones is learning to limit our inputs.
Okay, so what we take in.
Exactly. We are constantly bombarded with information from all sides.
Oh, yeah.
News, social media, emails. It's exhausting.
It's like we're drowning in information.
Yes. Holiday even calls it information poverty.
Oh.
This idea that too much information
actually
makes us less informed.
Interesting.
Because when we're constantly being bombarded with information, we don't have the mental space to process it.
Okay.
To think critically, or to even figure out what's truly important.
And how do we figure out what's truly important?